We have classical music playing in the background
right.
today.
Hello, Yvonne. I know you're out there. It's her.
Thanks for being a diligent watcher on our program.
Thanks for not throwing the phone into the toilet today.
Got it? All right, it's 11 o'clock. Let's get started.
Hey there, this is Darla Nunley.
And I'm Judy Hayes, and we're with the Design Realty Group.
And this is Real Talk Live, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. And today we are sitting at the Highlands, and we're over in a section where they have the duets today. So we're going to be going over a little bit of that here in just a minute. But if you have ever been in a home selling or a home buying situation, you're going to know a little bit about the topic that we're going to talk about today. We're going to discuss inspections. If you're a first-time home buyer or a first-time home seller, it's going to be some really good information for you. We're going to walk through a little bit about how that whole inspection process works, what you should expect, kind of how we negotiate and handle things. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to pick an inspector and the things that they look for and what the report's going to look like. So today we have our sponsor. I've worked with them for many years. I love them to death. They are First Rate Inspections, and I work a lot with Ricky. They have a full concierge service with First Rate Inspections. They offer a lot of different warranties and things when you call to book an inspection. We'll go over what the cost of that is, the types of inspections that you can order, but I wanted to go through kind of their full concierge service over at First Rate. They're at firstrateinspections.com. It's in the links here. You can go over there and kind of get a little bit more information about who they are and how to schedule an appointment. Today, they are actually offering a discount through the end of the year, $25 off of your home inspection if you mention Designed 2022, and we'll put that in the comments. And we're also going to be giving away a $25 Home Depot gift card. So if you will put Pick Me in the comments here, we will enter you for a drawing. This video runs for 24 hours on our Facebook page at the Hayes Team. And we will collect those names, and Yvonne or one of us will draw in the morning, and then they will get that shipped over to you. So firstrateinspections.com, call them, get $25 off of your inspection using the code DESIGNED 2022, and then put Pick Me in the comments, and we'll draw your name. We'll put you in there to draw your name out for a $25 Home Depot gift card.
Everybody needs to go to Home Depot for something.
Right. So I think it goes hand in hand because everybody has something that they need to do with their home, or when they buy one, or when they sell one. So all of these items on here are for the full concierge service with First Rate Inspections. You get all of this for free, zero money, F-R-E-E, with your home inspection. You're going to get a 90-day warranty. They back all of their inspections with a 90-day limited structural mechanical warranty. So basically what happens is if they go through and do the inspection and something isn't pointed out and put on the report, then they cover that for 90 days in the event that when you move into the home and something is found that was not covered in the report.
So what does that mean exactly? So say they did an inspection on a house and they did not note that the hot water heater was not functioning properly. So you moved in and all of a sudden I'm taking cold showers.
Right.
I would call them up and say you didn't note
it wasn't
on there,
noted on here.
and are they going to give me a new hot water heater or money or what?
That part of it I'm not sure of, but but I do know that they warranty what they find and what they don't find. The particulars of that I can get with Ricky on that and get that for you. They do mold safe, so if mold is found in the home after you close on it and it wasn't noted in the report, homeowners resource for technical support. For all your home related questions, they have a support system for that. They have a full concierge service and utility setup. So you know how typically what we do is we give our buyers on the seller's disclosures, especially out in rural properties where AT&T is not everywhere and CenterPoint Energy is not the same gas company over in Cleveland as it is over in Porter. So they do a full concierge free utility setup. So you call them, you give them the address, and they will work through getting all of those things set up, helping you set the deposits and all of those things that are required.
Well, that saves a ton of time because you can be on the hold for electric company for 30 minutes to an hour on any given day. That's a really good convenience for free.
Yep, and it's absolutely free is what they offer. A recall check, if there's any recall notices on appliances or things in your home, they give that to you for free. A termite protection plan, if they go through and do a specific termite inspection, and we'll talk about that as well. And then within 90 days after that you've moved into the home, if you come up with termites on that home, then they cover it here under the protection plan to eradicate those items.
And those little suckers are not friendly. They can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. And if you're on rural properties, a termite inspection is required on a VA home, period. You must have it. It's not required on any other loan. And generally, when you have a standard inspection, your inspector will be like, hey, you didn't ask for a termite, but I'm seeing evidence that maybe we need to do one. So it's never bad. It's usually, I don't know their particular, $80 to $100 add-on. And it's very good, especially in rural areas where there's lots of wood.
Yep. So the biggest things are you get that full service, that full concierge service, utility setup, phone, TV, internet, alarm systems, locksmiths, and more. You have the 90-day warranty on the entire inspection. You have mold safe as well as a couple of other things on here. If you want more information on that, let me know and I can get you hooked up with Ricky on that. The other thing that they're going to do, the biggest thing that I give to my buyers is called this Ultimate Home Book. When you go to sell that home, if you've taken care of your home during the time that you've owned it, then you're going to see that you will benefit greatly from that as a seller when a buyer comes through there and they're running through Ricky and them, who do a great job of doing those home inspections. The other thing that you're going to get from us is this Buyers and Sellers Guide to a Home Inspection. So it's going to walk you through exactly what they're going to be looking at, what they're going to be inspecting, how they're going to be inspecting, because they're not going to be doing these really detailed inspections. They're looking for on the surface kind of issues. And if they see something that they don't like, they're going to tell you to go and get something that is to go like an AC technician and maybe have it checked out. But at least you're going to have someone looking at it and telling you if this is a concern or not. But they go through and tell you kind of what they're doing and how they're doing these inspections things, okay?
And one of those things that I think is really cool about keeping up with your home, and I have a little notebook. If you're in your home for any amount of time and maybe the AC had to be serviced, or maybe you put new paint colors in, or maybe you replace the disposal and you go to sell your house, you're not going to remember. So try to keep that as you're going, because if you lived in your home 10, 15 years, you've definitely done things to your home. And if it's a big ticket item, a roof or an AC, you definitely want to know that. But just other things, hot water heaters and stuff, there's no way you're going to remember it. So keep it in some sort of folder in your receipts.
Keep it on, either when you like when you service the AC or when you have roof repairs or things like that. Because when a buyer comes in and sees those items, it really makes a difference.
It's the maintenance of your home.
Exactly. I mean, they want to know that the home that you've been living in, you've been taking care of it, because that potentially means less issues from them than the competition down the road that you can tell that maybe they didn't do.
And they can honestly say, you know, I've shown a house that's 2 years old and I'm like, what happened in here? You know, it's been roughed up. Or I've shown houses that are 30 years old that you just walk in and you feel that it's been maintained and things aren't squeaking and doors are not closing and all that kind of stuff. And it makes a huge difference to your consumer. They can really tell it.
We call it pride and ownership. When we talk, when we see it, we know it, and we really, if somebody's pulled that out, they can see that in that home for sure.
And they're maintaining everything. So what we're going to talk about the inspections. Your inspections are done during your option period. So once you've house hunted with one of your agents at Design Realty Group, that's super exciting. You look at the house, you see it's really pretty. Then we make an offer, and once our contract is executed, you have an option period. It's generally between 5 and 10 days, depending on what you negotiated. That's when your inspections are completed and negotiated. Maybe not done, like not the new roof on, but you have to be negotiated, executed any changes that are going to be done within that option period. So it's important that you schedule your inspections quickly and that your agent is able to negotiate those for you quickly. And we're going to talk about some discussions points. So when you go in, we're not negotiating cosmetic things. You already know that it has, you know, green paint with purple dots on it. You knew that from the first offer. So we're not negotiating cosmetic things at that time. We're negotiating mechanical and structural things that may happen. And we're on a time crunch. It's a very much a hard deadline that you have to choose. If you don't get your negotiations the way you want it, that you have to make a decision if you're going to proceed with this contract or if you're going to terminate it. And so it's a very fast moving process during this option period to get it done.
Do you have to get a home inspection?
You do not. There's not a law or a rule except on VA.
The lender doesn't require it.
Lender doesn't require it except on a VA loan. You must have a termite. But we're going to tell you always get an inspection, even on new construction. And if you don't with our company, you're going to have to sign a waiver. That's how important we feel it is. I can see that it's pretty, but I do not know if this outlet over here works. I don't know. I'm not a home inspector. I know that it's pretty. That's my job. Okay, so we want to make sure everything functions. Plus, when you are going, these inspections take, depending on the size of the house, an easy 3 to 4 hours. We encourage you to be there the whole time, if not the end, so you can ask the inspector questions and learn your house. You need to learn about it, whether you've owned one before. This one is totally different. What do all these buttons do, and where's my main shut off for my water? How do I, you know, get the sprinkler to work? Just all the, it's your time as long as you want to learn how to work your house, because once you sell, you're on your own. You're in here like, I don't know how to make anything work.
And the way that most inspectors will do it, and I know doing mine with First Rate, they give you, they want to know if the buyer is coming in. Are you going to be staying with them the entire time, which can take 3 to 4 hours depending on the size of the home. Or you have the option of coming in the last 30 minutes or so, and then they go over that entire report, what they're seeing there with you, and you can ask them, well, is that something that I need to be concerned about? Is this a big ticket item that's going to cost me a lot of money? They will not give you what they think things cost. They don't do that, but they will tell you, we see this all the time.
This is a big deal.
We're going to walk through one of these inspection reports here just for a couple of things to know what's important and what's not important.
And 2 key words that you're going to have to be very clear with your realtor are repair and replace. So let's say we have an air conditioner issue. Is it 20 years old or 8 years old? Okay, 20 years old sounds like a replace. 8 years old may sound like a repair, but you know, you need to discuss that and understand the difference between those 2 words. And then if you have a home warranty, we're not going to go into that, but if you repair it and then you have a home warranty, you know, it should cover things on there. And it's a case-by-case basis, but you need to speak with your realtor.
And I will say that when you're making an offer on a home, if your realtor has done their job, you know how old that roof is, you know whether or not the AC has been replaced recently, you know whether or not the water heater has been replaced recently, because when they go in and they do that inspection, they're going to let you know whether or not that AC, that HVAC system is an older system that's got a whole lot of issues. But if you knew that going in when you made the offer, and you know that that's a concern potentially, you have to keep that in mind when you make that offer.
Keep it on your initial offer. You know, and on your initial offer, we're not going to go into this. If you look and you see the roof has a big gap and holes and they're staying in the ceiling, you can ask to have the roof replaced in your initial offer. Get that on the table. Say, I can already tell with my naked eye that we're walking in, there's stains on the ceiling, that I need a new roof, so I don't need an inspector to tell me that. And you can negotiate that right off the bat, so they're not bombarded, because that's a big ticket item. Or obviously you walk in and you're sweating because the air conditioner doesn't work.
Unless that listing says as is. That's a whole different. That's a whole different.
That's when you that gives you negotiation power. Okay, so let's talk about our negotiation points. We kind of hit on, you know, why do we recommend a home inspection, even for brand new homes. Physical people build homes. They make mistakes. They have guidelines. Everybody has to have a quality, a QC check, and that's what it is. So even when your new construction builder that we all love, they do have their own QC people come in, but I just had this 2 weeks ago on a new construction. We came in behind and there was a faulty window. The window completely needed to be replaced. Do it. It's the best $400 or $500 you're ever gonna get. They work for you, not the new builder. The other guy works for the builder, period, on that. So
and most of the time a new home contractor you hand them the report,
they'll fix.
They're going to go through and fix it, because they're just putting those homes up. So
Darla, tell us, okay, so we go in, we get the house, and we found some things that we weren't aware of. Oh no, we didn't know certain things. There's a couple of ways that you can actually negotiate those things. So I can ask you to fix the air conditioner, okay? Or I can ask you to reduce the sales price, or I can ask you to get give me some closing costs. So let's talk about the pros and cons of each one of those. So anything we ask our seller to fix, I'm just going to say, they get to choose who the repair person is. And quite honestly, they're probably going to do it as cheap as they can. They're on the way out. Okay. They're just trying to put a Band-Aid on it. But if you ask your realtor to negotiate money and say, you know what, my brother actually works for an air conditioning company. I can get a whole new unit at a discount rate. Let me do that myself. Then your realtor can negotiate closing costs or a reduction in price for you.
I always encourage my buyers to take control of what is going to be done to the home
in their house
that they're going to be living in, because you know, if you, I mean, you look at it and you're like, well, you're going to contribute to my closing costs, but I still have to fix it. That is still money in your bank account that's going to give you the opportunity to control when, where, how, and who does the work. So I always encourage if we can get that. Some sellers will not do that because, quite honestly,
they think they can do it cheaper.
Some of them are really handy and they can fix those things. They've lived in the home a long time. They know what the issues are. Some of them are investors. They have a handful of handyman contractors that they already have contracts with that they will get in and say, well, I can do that a lot cheaper than handing him, you know, $3,000 or whatever. So if you're looking at, like, I'll always get the question, well, how much do you think it's going to cost?
Yes, that's a difficult question.
Let's talk to an AC. We'll go in and say, let's get an HVAC, a person to come over here and tell us what they see is wrong with it. Sometimes it's
I don't know how much a compressor is. We're
Right.
arguing over $400.
Right. Sometimes it's the coil.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the outside unit. Sometimes the whole thing needs to be replaced. And when you've got older systems with the newer systems, and we've got
the whole thing.
a lot of the Freon issues that we have going on right now. So those are all things, believe me, we've been through a lot of that. So you want to make sure that your realtor knows what they're doing.
So just as a general statement, whether I am working for the buyer or the seller, when I'm negotiating repairs, it is a smoother, unless you walk in the house and the air conditioner's like 100% not working today, not working, it's off.
Right.
We got to do something like that. But if we have a laundry list of repairs, it's a cleaner contract to get money. Let's get money, let me tell you why. So let's just say the disposal doesn't work and we come over, they have to have the repairs done by a licensed electrician. Yeah, they can fix a squeaky, drawer or something, but if it's electrical, HVAC, roof, they have to have a licensed contractor do work and they have to provide receipts for us. But if you come over here and it's difficult to repair. Oh, I didn't like it repaired this way. Oh, you said you're going to, and then there's just an ability to have a conflict the day before closing. You walk through and you don't like it. Now the buyer's not happy and the seller's not happy, and we're arguing and fighting the day before closing. Nobody fights over the money. It's in a contract. And again, the buyer gets to fix it how they want with the person they want to do it. That's the easiest, cleanest. It's the first route we go unless we absolutely have to do it.
Right. So as a seller, you should anticipate what?
You should anticipate this request, that you're going to get a request. And when we talk about, you cannot ask for everything on the list. You have to understand the report, because you can have a brand new house that is a 40-page report and you're like, you're just freaked out because of the number of pages. Well, first of all, 3/4 of it is pictures.
Right.
There are certain guidelines that our TREC inspectors have to put in the report. It's a TREC guideline. And you may say out of code, and people will freak out about out of electrical code. Code changes every 2 years. It doesn't mean that outlet's not working. It just means things are different. And that's when the inspector comes in, because we get asked questions. I'm not an AC guy. We've done it enough that we know words that should trigger us, but it's really going to punt back. When you have questions, ask your inspector.
Right.
And then we can all talk together or have an expert, because your inspector is your general person, but if it comes down to a foundation, especially AC, you're going to want that specialist to go in there. Then we can extend your option period, because they're the ones that's going to tell you the difference between 400 and 4,000 and if we need to repair or replace, because that's big numbers.
Right. So I'm going to show you really quickly. In the report, this report that I have right here is about 46 pages long. This is a current that I have with a current client right now. Like Judy said, most of this is pictures. I'll show you, but it talks about here what it goes over: structural systems, electrical systems, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, plumbing, appliances, optional systems like septics and things like that. And then within these things, they have a whole lot of, we have a whole lot of references in here. So you're going to see whether it was inspected, it wasn't present, or it's defective. You're going to see that clearly. You're going to see pictures. So if it's defective, you're going to see a picture. They're going to point out specifically where it was. So let me back up and say, our inspectors are TREC certified inspectors. They follow the same form for every single one. It may look a little bit different, like first rates,
just different
but
formatting.
Maybe different formatting, but they all have to follow the same. The wording is pretty much the same on the guidelines. They just fit it in to be specific to what this home is. If you didn't have a septic system, it's going to be blank in there, okay? And then on the back side of this, you're going to see what's called a report summary, okay? I look at this when I first get the report from my client. I zip to the back and I'm looking at this. You cannot be afraid. I hate when inspectors do this. They make these red or blue. Okay, and then it just scares the mess out of my clients because they're thinking this house is falling down. Their house is not falling down. Their job for the buyer who has paid them $450 on average to go through this home and tell you everything that's in this report. And remember, I told you this full concierge service right here. This is what the buyer's getting when they use my inspector. So they're going to make sure they cover everything in that home and that the buyer goes in with a really good solid knowledge of what they're buying.
It's very important. You don't know. You're not a home builder. You know, you don't know these things. You need to be educated before you purchase this very expensive home.
So you're going to find in this report, the last, 6-8 pages is full of the summary. So we go back to and this is all the things that are wrong, that they've noted wrong, okay? And it's not necessarily wrong. It's just, these are the things that they've seen. So we're going to go through there and I'm going to take a look at this, and real quickly, the things that Judy and I have talked about that we go through our buyers with is you're not going to ask for paint. You're not going to ask for a faucet maybe to be, tightened up. If you've got mechanical issues, structural issues, plumbing issues, bug issues, or safety issues. Those are the things that we go through first and look at to see, are the stair rails on the 2-story home rattling and falling apart? We certainly don't want safety issues with the home either.
What you don't want to do is, you want to ask for things that need to be asked for, but you don't want to nitpick your seller. Remember, you're buying a used home, okay? It's not a new home. If it's normal wear and tear for the age of the home, you just need to accept that the home was built in, 1985. That's just the way it is. But you want to make sure that it's structural and everything works. The other thing with a home inspection, the home inspection itself is about $400, $450, and there can be some add-ons. We talked about the termite. We do a lot of rural properties, so two that you very well need to expect on rural properties is a well. We want to make sure the water is drinkable, clean, it doesn't have bacteria in it, and your septic. So those two items being replaced can be about $8,000 each basic. So the septic has to function properly. So when you're doing rural properties, if it's an old house, they have what's called a conventional system. It's just tanks in the ground. If that doesn't work anymore, you have to have a whole new aerobic system. You cannot permit a conventional system anymore. So again, about an agent, we do a lot of rural properties. So if you are looking at rural properties, you better have an agent.
Well, and the other thing is
all different.
And I do a lot of VA loans. So the lender requires a termite inspection on a VA loan. If it has a septic system, they require a inspection on that, and they require a well water test. So all three of those things are required on a VA loan, and then the home inspection, we always recommend that you do that with the home inspection.
Let me throw this in there. All of these inspection fees are at the buyer's cost.
Exactly.
None of these are rolled into the contract. That's not your money. That's not your down payment. That's not your ops fee. None of that. And again, they have to be completed and negotiated within that time period that your agent will say, hey, if your deadline is on Friday, we don't have our inspection on Thursday. Okay, we have our inspection on Monday.
So that's a good point. So cost, you're looking at around $450 to $550. It all depends
just the home.
On the square footage of the home, what all they're, how much time they're going to have to spend on it. And then with the specialties, name off some of the specialty inspections that we have.
So the termite, again, I think $80 to $120. Your septic can be another $300. Your well can be another $200 to $300. You're going to send that water sample off. So it just depends. You can have a pool. That's one. That's a whole different. And your general home inspector can do a general something, but that's not a traditional septic inspection.
We always have to do those separate.
You have to do it separate. So a swimming pool, you want to make sure those pumps and everything are working on there, and then it's with a swimming pool person. Foundation. That's a big one because if there's foundation work that needs to be done, we always want to make sure we do it with a reputable foundation company that provides a warranty. It's a lifetime transferable warranty. So you may be purchasing a house that has this. That's common in our area, especially if the houses were built in the 70s and 80s. Some people freak out about that. I don't want a house with foundation.
Well, and you want a foundation company that's been around a really long time, because a lot of
Google
these guys
them and they're not there
are
anymore.
fly by night. The warranty means nothing if they no longer exist.
Right? So if you walk in a house and you feel like you're like, I have not been drinking at lunch today. When you feel the floor, we see that cracks on the outside of the house. You can see that. You can look sometimes in a house and you see the corner. I'm like, am I looking crooked? Or it looks a little.
Yeah, a lot of
down
time
there.
when we're walking
You
in the
can feel
home,
it.
we can feel it. Yeah,
you can feel it.
You notice
and
it.
we'll point that out as we're walking the house. So we should already know that before we put an offer in. Then we're going to look at the disclosures and see if it mentions. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you before you even look at the house.
Okay.
So foundation and people flooding. There's people I've flooded before. I don't ever want to flood. So we just kind of go through those.
Right.
But that's pretty much with that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking
educated.
you're right. So if you're looking at inspections, like Judy said, they're a buyer's expense. If you decide to pull out of this contract, nobody is paying you back on them. However, the amount of money that it could save you in the long run, knowing up front that you knew exactly what you were getting into and any major repairs that you need to ask for, we know that up front. Recently, I had a home over in Livingston that I helped Miss Cat buy. If any of you follow me, I had little Miss Cat on there for a little while. I helped her buy a 2018 mobile home in Livingston on a 3/4 of an acre lot, and it had a septic system. And the septic wasn't that old. You would think no problems.
Roots growing those things or something. You never know.
Yeah, something happened and it failed the septic test, and it totally shocked me because she decided not to get a home inspection against my.
Again, we're going to make you sign a waiver because we can't force you to do anything.
Right.
But we wouldn't tell you to do it.
Right.
We're not just trying to get you to spend money. You need it. You
so
don't know.
I mean, it was practically a brand new home, and so anyway, she didn't feel like it was necessary, but she did want the septic. We got the septic done. The septic failed. However, we had some people come out and look at it, and she made decisions on it. But you always want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into. So after you purchase that home, you're like, you know what? I know that was there. We negotiated all these things. Now it's time to get it fixed, or I can wait on it, or whatever that you need to do. So let's talk about, are you done?
The only other thing that I wanted to throw in that's come up recently is when we look at our seller's disclosure, because of all of the natural disasters that have happened in the United States, period, but in our area, they have told us that pretty much insurance companies are not covering roofs that are 15 years or older.
It's a cash value, and your rates are really high.
And so if we see a seller's disclosure that says the roof is over 15 years old, we're going to negotiate a roof on the, at the beginning of the contract, because it will be very difficult, almost impossible. I think it may be impossible. I don't want to misstate myself.
No,
that you can't insure the house.
There are some insurance companies that are doing it.
It's very, very high.
It's expensive.
And here, let me clarify a roof. That's my inspection here. Everybody said, it's a 30-year shingle. It is never going to last 30 years ever in the history of ever.
Hurricanes.
Period. So if you live in Colorado, you got snow to deal with. Here you got hurricanes and winds and 110-degree heat every day this summer.
Right.
And don't, sellers, I'm talking to you. It's a 30-year roof. They've got another 15. No, 15 years. If you get more than 15 in Texas, be glad.
Well, I think what's happening is a lot of people are making claims with the insurance companies. And so the insurance companies are having to pay out for natural disasters, floods, roof issues. I mean, we've had some really nasty storms even here lately.
Yes.
I mean, you go outside and the limbs are down everywhere. So we have a lot more wear, depending on where you live.
Well, I live in, my land is wooded.
Right, if you live around a lot of trees.
I had my roof repaired within the first year with a limb fell and poked right in the roof. You're like, how does that even happen? But when you're wooded, it wears quicker than in a neighborhood where there's no trees.
And if we have a lot of rain, you're going to see those granules lay out on the ground, and all of that deterioration. If you've got a leak somewhere and you don't even know it because it's running down the roof, And so anyway, we're
about to wrap it up. First thing I want, did you have one more thing? Sorry.
No, we're good.
I wanted to give a big shout out. We are, again, like Donna said, we are in the community called the Highlands off of 99 and 1314. We want to thank Pam and Audra for allowing us to do Real Talk in this beautiful Beazer duet home. These homes are fabulous, and I love this neighborhood.
So what is a duet?
Well, a duet is a fancy word for a duplex.
It's a duplex.
It's a duplex.
You share one wall.
You share one wall. It's like a foot between each of them, though. It's not like an inch, and it's very much soundproof. You can't hear what's going on. But I'm not gonna lie, I love this neighborhood. I love all my builders in here, but the exterior of this, the curb appeal of this home is my absolute favorite of every home in this neighborhood. Yeah. It's the farmhouse, white with black. I'm going to do a separate little video after this that I'll post on my TikTok that you can see. It's super cute. So you can get a 2 to 3 bedroom, 1,500 to 2,100 square feet duet starting at $345,000. They have several floor plans in here. If you are looking for low maintenance, you don't want a big yard, you maybe you are a senior or maybe you are single and you just want a nice product and with easy maintenance and everything taken care of. This neighborhood is phenomenal. This product is phenomenal, and the curb appeal is to die for. I really love it.
It's that modern farmhouse.
Yes.
With the vertical black and white out front. It is really, they are really stunning.
And I think their incentives right now are about $15,000 in closing costs. That is crazy. Pretty much you have to put your down payment down, and you wouldn't have to pay any of your closing costs right now.
Yeah, so that's really good. Any inventory homes, and they have 1,300 inventory homes, and they
1,300, 13.
Sorry, 13. Well, I'm thinking
that was
like
all excessive. That's
I'm thinking 1,500 square feet.
Yes.
Up to about 2,100 square feet, and they are really nice. And we're sitting here, you can see it. We're looking at granite countertops, stainless, really nice gas appliances. We've got upstairs, the rooms we've got 2 bedrooms?
2 down.
This one has 2 down, and it has 2 up with a game room, made an office kind of thing. So they are really super cute. The yards are not 0 lot lines. No. You actually have some space. Depending on the lot that you pick, obviously. They are giving incentives too for dirt builds. We are back to dirt builds, ladies and gentlemen. It is wonderful. So anyway, let's talk about
our takeaway.
Let's talk about our takeaway today. We're gonna, I want you as a buyer to strongly consider always getting a home inspection.
Every single time. It's
every single time. Whether a whole home or a specialized inspection, if you've had issues in the past and you say, I never want to have any electrical issues again, that's the only thing I care about. We can talk about that. We're going to be using a TREC certified inspector to ensure quality. Always, unless you know someone, always try to go with who we recommend.
And let me say, it's not a rule about saying you're steering them to those people. We don't get any sidekicks off of that.
We get nothing off of it. What we get,
we know their experience and they're good at their job. We only refer the absolute best in the business of people that we do business with.
And if you have major concerns, we can pick up the phone. They're going to answer our phone.
We know our name. They know us.
They're going to answer our calls. And then focus on 3 things when you're looking at an inspection report: your structural, mechanical, and safety issues. Those are really the main key items that we want to focus on. And if you're looking at negotiating on something, those are the things that we try to stay focused on. We don't nitpick. And do not expect the seller to ever fix absolutely everything.
You cannot give them this and say, I want everything. Don't be unrealistic.
It's not realistic. It's a home, and we have to remember the inspector's job was to find anything and everything wrong with that. So we're going to, again, thank First Rate Inspection today for all of their valuable information and insight into inspections. I highly encourage you to reach out to them if you're looking at buying a home and you need a home inspection. Remember, they have a full concierge service. They provide you with a free home guide and a buyer and seller's guide to the home inspection. We're going to give away a $25 Home Depot gift card. So put pick me in the comments below, and that they're also going to give a $25 discount when you order the home inspection if you tell them designed 2022 is the discount code.
And that's something we're going to start doing every week. We're going to have some sort of sponsor with some sort of giveaway. So like I said, if during your lunch hour, if you're not available to watch us from 11 to 11:30, you can watch it anytime on Facebook for 24 hours, and it's going to be on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so we do pop it over to the YouTube, and
you don't have to comment during the 30 minutes. You got 24 hours.
You got some time to go back and look at it, or send it to a friend and let them take a look and say, hey, this is some really good information.
One thing I want to say, we're going to do different topics, but if there's anything you're interested in learning about, put it in the comments and we can answer your questions really quick. And maybe we've got a criteria, but we're going to do every week and kind of give you a heads up about what's going on. So, Darla, what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about appraisals. The two things that are extremely important when you're buying or selling a home, the inspections and the appraisals. Those things are going to cost you money.
And the appraisals are the most difficult. We can't even go there right now. It's it's a lot.
And it changes constantly.
It's a crapshoot.
Judy just gave us some information that after COVID's over, the market's flipped, ladies and gentlemen.
Rules and
guidelines from the lenders are changing quickly.
So that changes your appraisal. So we're going to talk about that next week. Next week. 2 listings of the week. I want to feature 3771 University. That is way in West University in Houston. This house has been reduced by $100,000. Yep, that's a big house. It is across the street from the best elementary school in Houston area. We are listed just over $1 million. Yes, we need a buyer. The second one is 497 Horace Bonds, and it is a beautiful custom home on 3 acres in Livingston. It is fabulous, and we would love for you to take a look at that. We are listed at $525. We just reduced that one. So those will be in the notes below in the comments. Take a look at both of those listings. If anybody wants $1 million home, call me over in West University.
Right. And I love that one too because it has that garage apartment. It has an apartment over.
Income producing close to Rice University.
So you can VRBO that because that place, if you've been to that to university over there, it's close to the college, Rice University, which would be great for a college student to be able to rent that, or a VRBO because there's lots of nightlife over there.
Lots of it. I'm not a city girl, but those who are love it. So again, go to our YouTube. That's it. We will talk appraisals. We appreciate it. Hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. We got to celebrate together out by the pool. Our kids went in the pool while it was raining the whole day. The only day it rained was the day we had a party with our whole family.
Right.
We didn't care. We played cornhole. We got to play in the rain. Grandkids were there. Kids were there. It was a wonderful weekend for us, and we enjoyed it. So we hope you had a wonderful Labor Day.
I'll post a couple photos on my
I didn't
Instagram.
even take one.
I took some, and I'll post them if you go follow me. Darla Nedley Realtor on Instagram. You'll see some.
We'll see you next week all about appraisals. That one's going to be it's a lot next week. So
thank you. Y'all have a good week.
Bye.